Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3 Friday night, and it's cold. And I'm blowing some heat near my wall with the outside wall where the washer is, so I don't have anything freeze up like what happened the other day, but it didn't burst because I caught it in time. Dude, implement your pipe freeze plan if you have an outside wall thing, as far as I'm concerned, 110%. And I'll quote my friend and host of Texas Home Improvement here on News Talk 820 WBAP from noon to 2, and my friend Jim Dutton. If you got freezing for 6 hours or more, cover the pipes or open up the doors on your cabinet there if you have a wall sink. And then for me personally, with my washer dryer on the outside wall, I blow the heat behind the washer. So that's implemented. I left with it on because it was below freezing when I left. Not going to play around over by there. So that way I won't spend a couple grand on a repair I don't need to get. Okay, this is quite a salacious piece of news, and I have to be honest with you, I totally believe this. What is the allegation? That Nikki Haley had 2 extramarital affairs. One with a man who was married, and one with another man. And apparently both of these guys have signed affidavits, have done sworn affidavits saying that they had a sexual relationship with Nikki Haley as a married woman with 2 kids. Cheating on her husband that she brags about and leads most of her statements with, most of her political appearances with, and including on her appearances. Everywhere she goes, the woman, in fact, you know what's funny? Just yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before, I was coming in, and, you know, we have television stations up. We've got Fox News and fake news CNN on in my studio. That's what I keep on. And I saw the Nikki Haley press. She had a town hall with fake news CNN, I think yesterday or the day before. And I was mocking her in my head. I was mocking her about, how much are you going to tell us about 1,000 times? I said to myself about your husband and how he served. That seems to be half of everything she does. And this is pretty bad. And not only that, according to this is the Daily Mail. And not only that, according to the Daily Mail, the new witnesses came forward on Friday. They reported this Friday. And they gave Nikki Haley 24 hours before they went to print with it and published the report to respond. For 24 hours, no one at her camp decided. None of them responded. They said, we'll get back to you, and they never did. So the Daily Mail published this on Friday. And then 2 days later, or a day later, whatever it is, the Daily Mail, who has been covering her since the beginning of her campaign, and there was a process where you fill out an application for to get a press pass for this event, for her events, and they send them in, they get them signed, they get them back, and then they wear them to show they're approved to cover the campaign. They revoked their coverage of the campaign. They revoked her coverage. Nikki has blocked the Daily Mail from covering her like a good dictator. What all dictators do is they shut them down, just like Joe Biden, just like the liberal media. They shut them down. That's all they do. They silence you. Whether it's Twitter before Musk, taking the Hunter Biden thing off, Facebook, all that stuff, taking it off, rigging it. Well, that's what Nikki's doing today. Now, so that's a dictator right there. This woman has no business going any further in this campaign, has no business being anything near a president, and she's a hypocrite. When you put your husband out there. Oh, my husband is in the military. Oh, look at us. I'm married. My husband. Hey, how many times are you going to say husband? Say it in between every sentence, I said to myself when I walked in here. That was a day or two ago. And then this comes out. Now, new witnesses came forward, the Daily Mail says, saying that Haley's denials of 2 alleged affairs in 2008 are false, and that the supposed trysts were brazen and widely known among South Carolina politicos. Will Folks, 49, and Larry Merchant, 61, both signed affidavits in 2010, so 14 years ago, alleging they had a sexual relationship with then South Carolina lawmaker. She was a lawmaker at that time before she went on to become governor. Contents of affidavits described by major news outlets. This was in the major news outlets at the time, these alleged affairs. They have been published outside of this. This is the first time they've been published outside of one of the two men, Will Folks. This is the first time they've been published outside of Folks' own document, which he published on his blog. Haley denied both at the time, saying she's 100% faithful to her father of 2 children, husband of 28 years, Michael Haley, who was deployed in Afghanistan in the National Guard in 2012. In case you haven't heard her say that 50,000 times in the last 5 minutes, you've heard her say anything. That's all she says. And in fact, the Daily Mail says she now frequently cites him as a reason for her presidential candidate. So he's a prop. So the Daily Mail also says they've been covering Haley's campaign since she launched her presidential bid February 2023. So they've been covering her for 11 months or 12 months, almost 12 months and 11 months. And the day they published this, after they gave her 24 hours to respond, she's banned. They're banned. This woman's a dictator. She's no different than Joe Biden and the Democrats banning stuff. And they will not credential the Daily Mail anymore. And that is insane. All you got to do is deny it. Trump had to deal with this, and you just deny it. Did you ever hear of him banning anybody from covering him? Did you ever hear of Ron DeSantis banning anybody from covering him? Did you ever hear of Tim Scott, who is moments away from endorsing Donald J. Trump at a rally in Concord, New Hampshire? By the way, see if we can cover that rally. It's on Fox, so if you can have that ready. Talking to producer Garrett, too. Just have Fox on standby. I'm going to cover like a minute or two. I'll just carry maybe a minute or two of it when it happens, when Tim Scott speaks. That's absolutely huge. We'll get to that in a second. But here's my question for you. Do you think Nikki Haley should not be president for having 2 alleged extramarital affairs reported by a credible news outlet with great documentation to back up their story? Should she not be president for having 2 alleged extramarital affairs that are backed up by a reputable news publication? And what about kicking the media out for reporting that? Doesn't that even further disqualify her? And does Haley turn you off as a candidate with these allegations, especially in light of the fact of how much she brags on her husband and her marriage? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP. To me, she's fake. She's done. And I believe these allegations. And, of course, they're allegations, but 2 different men signed affidavits saying, yeah, I had an affair with her, one of whom was married at the time, reportedly, and then banning her is insane after not responding. So it just never happened, huh? Is that how she's going to run her presidency? She's done. To me, she's done. All right, so what do you think? Do you think Nikki Haley shouldn't be president for these alleged 2 extramarital affairs? And then doesn't it disqualify her even more after she kicked them out from covering her? And does she turn you off with these allegations, especially with bragging about her husband? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Couple of things. I will also be getting into the magnanimity, the largest, the big deal, the bigness, if you will, to make up a word, of Tim Scott momentarily endorsing Donald J. Trump tonight. This woman has been cuckolded by her own state tonight. She has been cuckolded by Tim Scott, But I'll get into the details. It's fantastic, but I'll explain how horrifically this woman's been cuckolded tonight by her entire state, basically. Coming up next, and then a former top Pence staff member speaks out, the highest ranking one, the chief of staff. We'll see what he says about Trump versus Pence. This is going to surprise the heck out of you. All that's coming up next, plus your call on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Okay, so I'm talking to the Chris Crock Show. I have a live Facebook. Follow me on Facebook at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK. Click on the public figure, click like, scroll down, share away. Same thing on Twitter. What's her name? Nikki Haley is completely cuckolded by our whole state today. Tim Scott, the junior senator, is about to endorse Trump tonight. Lindsey Graham, the senior senator of South Carolina, already endorsed Trump, and the governor of South Carolina endorsed Trump already. Nobody likes this woman in her own home state. So, no, that is not a black man. That's an Indian man. My poor producer said to him, I said, no, it's Vivek. Vivek is Indian American. That is not black. You go back to diversity camp, Cumulus diversity camp. Have you gone yet? It's a 3-week torture test. Okay, 2 lines open. Nikki Haley, extramarital affairs 2 times when she bragged about her husband and such, that the 2 of the guys that said it have signed affidavits. Daily Mail confirms some stuff in this. They reported it as fact. Here, I'll just read the headline. Nikki Haley bans the Daily Mail from all her future campaign events after publishing a report on Friday on resurfaced allegations she cheated on her husband with her communications consultant and a married lobbyist. What a dictator does. When somebody catches you with infidelity allegations and reports it and gives you 24 hours to respond, she responds nothing. She shuts them down and then bans them. She's a dictator. She's no better than Biden. She's just as bad as Biden. Anyway, do you think Nikki Haley should not be president after having 2 alleged extramarital affairs reported by a credible news outlet with great documentation to back up their story? What about kicking the media out for reporting it, the Daily Mail out for reporting it? And does Haley really turn you off as a candidate with these allegations, especially in light of how much she brags on her husband and her marriage? By the way, did you know her husband served in Iraq? Did you know her husband served in Iraq? Did you know her husband's in the military? Did you know her husband served in Iraq? That's all she says. She's a parrot saying that 50 times a day. Great, you suck as a candidate. Get out of here. Rick and Addison, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now FM 93.3.
Hey, Chris. Good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you, brother.
You might recall I'm the dog trainer guy that met you once at Soda.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Very good, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, can you imagine being, well, first of all, in answer to your question, absolutely not. She is toast as a candidate for a number of reasons, even before this happened. But,
agreed.
Oh, my gosh.
Agreed.
With this thing going on, can you imagine being her husband in all of this and facing the prospect of having to look the public in the face for 4 years as the first husband?
Yeah, go ahead.
Knowing that your wife lay down for not 1 but 2 different men while he's serving in Iraq and serving his country honorably. Oh, my gosh.
I don't know when he deployed, but that very well could be when he was deployed. I don't know when. Producer Garrett, look up real fast for me. I'm going to ask Producer Garrett. Look up when Nikki Haley's husband was deployed in Iraq. That'll be fascinating if she's gone. You know, I envision this woman, you know, women and men of power can be hungry, and people that are ultra ambitious could be hypersexual, whatever, and want to get that action and exert that power, and and they work like 50 hours a week, 50 hours a day, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I could see that happening, but I believe this story. It's allegations, but dang, these reportings look good. Go ahead.
Especially with the documents and everything, that she needs to just bow out. And besides, if she kicks out one media outlet, do you not think that some other media outlet, the very next time you have a press conference, is going to ask the same thing? Are you going to kick out all of the media? Oh, my God.
This is the worst thing any politician can do. And if you're a city politician, if you're a county politician, if you're a state politician, you play this crap, you're done. You will get attacked mercilessly by me if you do something like that to me. I'll have a field day with it if you do that to me. This is pathetic.
Me too.
All right, so she's done that. Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, that's my comment.
Good comment, brother. Talk to you soon. Appreciate it very much. Great call. Greg in Little Elm, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey, Chris, I don't think that extramarital affairs should limit somebody from, the potential run for office. But the fact that, she has this, and then the way she just parrots all the stuff about, oh, my husband this, oh, my husband that, it just destroys her credibility. And then on top of it, destroys her credibility even more by kicking out the news media, oh, you can't cover me because you did this. That's smear. That's not good. That's not for me. But I never really liked her as a candidate in general, even when she served at the United Nations under Trump.
I liked her a lot. I liked her a lot with the United Nations. I won't lie. She was fantastic at that job.
Yeah. I'll give her that. I mean, she did a pretty good job, but at the same time, she just, overall, by, doing what she's done, we all have, our wants, our needs, our desires, and, sometimes we take them out further than what we should. But, to go ahead and start lying about it and not owning up to things, this destroys her credibility.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, the fact that she uses her husband as a prop and mentions him every other sentence she talks, that tells me everything. Okay, I appreciate it very much, brother. Yep. All right, we're in just a second. We're watching here when Tim Scott goes on. We don't have anything yet. He's when he does go on live, we're going to carry that for a minute. Trump is up there right now, so stand by for that. Let's go to Leo in Fort Worth. You are on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think she should run. I think she'd be a bad candidate once that's revealed and all. But I really don't think it matters whether her husband was in Iraq when the thing happened or whether he wasn't. It's just the fact that she decided to go on, have an extramarital affair with her husband there or not. And then the other thing is she's I don't think she has the same credibility that DeSantis has. And that DeSantis is kind of fumbling around right now, but I think he could come back a little stronger. And then the other thing is that, Trump has had very well documented affairs and extramarital problems, with
you often find yourself...
Hello?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Anyway, he's had a lot of extramarital stuff and paid hush money to Stormy Daniels.
Here's the problem. Trump doesn't go around. Here's the difference. Trump doesn't go around saying, well, look at my wife. Look at my wife. She's so awesome. Like, I'm such a family man. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, he's got an incredibly hot wife, but she's not a prop. She's not necessary for him for his whole candidacy to look, to talk about all the time.
He didn't even know Jean Carroll, and he raped her supposedly, and they found that he was libeled her several times.
I think she's a complete nutbag, and I don't believe her, but that's a for a different time. I got to roll, but I appreciate your call very much. I'll elaborate more next. We got a bunch of lines that just widened open for you, open up for you at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Do you think Nikki Haley should not be president for having two alleged extramarital affairs reported by a credible news outlet with good documentation to back up their story? That's the Daily Mail story today and Friday. And what about kicking the media out for reporting it? That's unbelievable to me. Does Nikki Haley really turn you off as a candidate with these allegations, especially in light of how much she brags about her husband and her marriage? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We are standing by to see what Tim Scott says tonight, but also I've got some of the things that Tim Scott plans on saying, and also former Pence Chief of Staff Nick Ayers. What does he say? Who's he endorsing? This is going to shock you. Maybe not, but coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on WBAP, on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Woo! Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP. and now on FM at 93.3. Tim Scott will endorse Donald J. Trump tonight at some point, and he's traveling to Florida. He traveled to Florida today so that he could fly with Trump to New Hampshire together. And in fact, Trump is likely, according to the New York Times, to spur additional discussion of Mr. Scott as a potential running mate. I told you this, and I think he's a great potential running mate. I think that Tim Scott will be hella vice president, and I think Tim Scott will be hella presidential candidate in 4 years. And I think that man would get a ton of votes, and I think he would win. Because, well, he's pretty conservative from everything I've seen. I don't know him real well, but I like everything I've seen. And he's more moderate, which I know that a lot of us might not like, but that's okay. He's moderate, but he will be running things in the spirit of Trump with his own style, but he's ready, and I think he would be good in 4 years, and it'll be hard to beat him. As an incumbent vice president running as president, with a man that has, as far as I'm aware, no history, with a man coming up from his bootstraps, from poverty, raised by a single mom, and becoming the first United States senator, first black United States senator, well, I think so, from South Carolina. I could be wrong on that, but I believe. Anyways, the man has an amazing history, an amazing trail, and I'm a huge fan of his. I am. And so is Trump, and he never went hard on Trump, and Trump never went hard on him, as I said, because he's probably going to be a VP pick, and I think he's done. I think he knows it, and I think they both do it, and I think it'd be freaking great. Yes. As I said, we got to have somebody that can last, that can win the next one, because Trump is only 4 years. Take it to the hilt and take everything Trump's done, all those good policies, learn not only from what he saw Trump, but learn directly in that White House to just be boom, and to have Trump mentoring him, if you will, from afar, or maybe even as advisor at the White House. But it's whatever Tim wants as he runs for president. But that's it, brother. That is it. I'm telling you. All right. The question, though, is about Nikki Haley. And by the way, former Pence Chief of Staff Nick Ayers endorsed Trump. Pence's former Chief of Staff endorsed Trump. Poor Pence. Now, Nikki Haley banned the Daily Mail after they reported on Friday that she had two extramarital affairs, alleging that, and two affidavits from two men, and they said it was common political knowledge at the time. This happened in 2008. And for reporting it, they reported it. Well, before they did, they said, hey, would you like to comment? They gave her 24 hours to respond. She didn't. They printed it on Friday. They published it on Friday. And today they were banned from doing any reporting for the Daily Mail. She kicked them out, just like a good dictator from a third world country. Get the heck out of here. She's done. She's done. So my question for you is, do you think Nikki Haley should not be president for having two alleged extramarital affairs reported by a credible news outlet with great documentation to back up their story? And what about Nikki Haley kicking the media out for reporting this? And does Haley really turn you off as a candidate with these allegations, especially in light of how much she brags about her husband as a veteran, Iraq. Sandra in Fort Worth. We got 4 lines open for you, by the way. First time we've had that many lines open in the whole 38 minutes so far. 800-288-WBAP. Sandra in Fort Worth, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Hi. Thanks. I am opposed to Nikki Haley based on who she is stance-wise and politically. Without anything that's been said tonight, I think she's a political prostitute. She'll say anything to get anything she wants. I don't think she stands for anything. I wouldn't vote for her. I wouldn't want her on that basis. So I don't even want to go into the weeds on this because the accusations are old. Accusations have been similarly done to Trump, trying to destroy him, and I think it's kind of a trap to get into.
But hold on. I think you're right about that. I do think, I wanted to touch on that more than I have it, so I'm grateful you brought this up. I want to say something, and I know you've got more to say, which I want to hear, but I want to say this. I agree with you that just because she may have had two extramarital affairs doesn't necessarily disqualify her because people do wrong. She denies that they happened, so be it. So we don't know 110% yet. But the fact that she kicked out a group, an organization that asked her to respond for 24 hours, she could have just said, these baseless allegations have been addressed and disproven years ago. Doesn't matter. She instead didn't comment and kicked them out like a dictator. That disqualifies her on top of the allegations showing how her husband's so important, but then allegedly doing this. Thoughts?
I'll stick with on disqualifying her for what she does politically. She's a mess. She's a political prostitute. I don't like how she operates on any level. So that isn't going to be a determining factor for me, because I don't know whether it's real or not. The accusations are old. I don't know anything about it. I know they have used similar things to get Trump. If they're raising her to a point of being a contender against Trump, then maybe they want to destroy her too. I don't know. All I know is based on what she has done in the past, what she says in these debates, what she says all along the way, I don't want her, and I think that disqualifies her to be president.
Well, you know what? I think she was disqualified, like as you said, from before. But this makes her even totally disqualifies her for any political office, because you don't do that to the media for reporting something when you don't respond, and you just shut them out like that and ban them. That's not America, and that's not what a reasonable politician does. A dirty Democrat or a dirty Republican or a clean one, you don't do that. I appreciate your call, Sandra.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Great call, straightforward, direct. I'm trying to find this Trump ad on her hypocrisies. It is really good. I heard the great one, Mark Levin, play it, but I'll have to dig for it and play it at some point. But it was damning. Absolutely damning. So I'm going to do that. But the questions, of course, do you think Nikki Haley should not be president for having 2 alleged extramarital affairs, reported by a credible news outlet with great documentation to back up their story? And what do you think about kicking the media out for reporting it? That's even worse to me. And then, does Haley really turn you off as a candidate with these allegations, especially when, in light of her bragging about how awesome her husband is, how much that matters to her and her family? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Now, Biden, this is real funny. Speaking of Trump, Haley, and Biden, I can throw in a little extra tidbit here on the political campaign. This is the funniest thing yesterday we didn't get to. Biden insists... this also was in the Daily Mail. Biden insists Iowa was not a landslide for Trump. President dismisses his rival's win. Quote, didn't mean anything because he only got 50,000 votes after Biden finished 4th in 2020. So he literally said that Trump winning 98 of Iowa's 99 precincts, and he lost to one precinct by only 1 vote to Nikki Haley. 1 vote. So that's not a landslide. All right, let's go to Francis. Francis, you are in Granbury. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Yes, I'm not for Nikki Haley at all. But I can see the situation that she's in right now. And Kathy Lee Gifford took her husband back, the same as Hillary Clinton took Bill Clinton back after marital affairs. And as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't vote for either one, and I wouldn't vote for Nikki Haley. And also, she wanted to give Disney land out in South Carolina against Mark Levin, saying that she shouldn't, but she would give away our country. I think that's all I have to say. But
she will give away our country, but you're saying the affairs don't disqualify her because that may or may not be true, and like you said, people forgive and they heal their marriages, right?
No, I wouldn't forgive her for that at all. I'm just saying that other people have done it, and truthfully, who wants someone that's going to be, as bad as she is when her husband's in the service and he's away, and like when the cat's away, the mice will play.
Yeah, now it looks like his Afghanistan service or Iraq service may not have matched up. I'll check it out to double check, but I don't think they match up for when the alleged affairs happen. But the point of this is you don't You don't do that to your husband. And if you do, you can say, that's none of your business. My husband and I have a strong marriage. We're stronger than ever before. I'm not responding to those allegations. Something like that. But to not respond and to ban the press is BS. I wouldn't even care how she responded as long as it was, a reasonable response like any of the ones I said. All denials, that's fine. But to not respond and to ban the Daily Mail, that's really super dictator. That's what Joe Biden does.
That's exactly right. And I don't think we need her to follow Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's actually better than her in a way that, because he'll say that's a bunch of lies, that's garbage, which is BS. But at least he says something, right? And he responds.
Biden too.
Yeah, of course you are. But he responds at least. She doesn't respond; she just bans. That's extra scary. Appreciate your call, Francis. Maybe that's why South Carolina's governor endorsed Trump, not Nikki Haley. Maybe that's why South Carolina's junior senator Tim Scott is endorsing Trump tonight. Maybe that's why South Carolina's senior senator Lindsey Graham endorsed Trump. All right, Jim in Oklahoma, you're coming up next. Do you think Nikki Haley should not be president for having 2 alleged extramarital affairs reported by a credible news outlet today, the Daily Mail? And what about kicking the media out for reporting it, which was what happened today? The report actually was done on Friday. And does Haley really turn you off as a candidate with these allegations, especially after bragging on her husband so much? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I'm going to find out the exact dates that he served and the allegations of the affair, her husband. Coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on WBAP. Are you rocking out tonight on a Friday night? Friday. Man, I'm trying to find... I can't find it, yo. I cannot find it. I will keep searching a lot. This could be it. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. Well, that's Social Security. Kind of scrolling down, looking. They got different ads. This is, how hard Google makes it to find? Okay, here we go. I got Tim Scott endorsing it. It already happened. We missed it. I was snoozing, and I lost, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. Boy, do I apologize for that. Okay, here is Tim Scott in what he said earlier tonight. Let's see here. Okay. If it'll play. Boy, it has really... Twitter has really sucked lately. I got to tell you that.
We need a president today who will stop the crime and recklessness in the streets. We need a president who will restore law and order. We need Donald Trump. Oh, we need a president who will lower our taxes and not raise our taxes. We need a president like Donald Trump.
Yes, sir.
We need a president who understands the American people are sick and tired.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sick and tired.
Preach.
We need a president our foreign adversaries are afraid of and our allies respect. We need. You see, we need a president who doesn't see black or white. We see a president who sees Americans as one American family.
I paused for a second. Trump has a big, eating grin on his face. This is a match made in heaven. I think this is his vice presidential candidate, unequivocally.
We need, and that's why I came to the very warm state of New Hampshire to endorse the next president of these United States, President Donald Trump.
All right, dude, I have never seen Tim Scott that pumped up. It's incredible. I just retweeted that so you can see it on my Twitter feed at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. There you go. You know what? All right, one of my listeners who follows on Twitter, I'm going to retweet this right now about why he does not want Nikki Haley in any way, shape, or form. First of all, she has witch face. I have to agree the side profile is not friendly to her. It's just not. So there he goes, Texan by birth. We follow each other. He's one of the listeners I value. I value every listener, but anyway, there he goes. Okay, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, I want to get into, this is incredible. Do you remember getting Sports Illustrated in your mailbox? Do you remember subscribing to it? Do you remember reading it if it was on the table there at the office, at the doctor's office or whatever? And then you remember the Sports Illustrated female swimsuit issues? I got that at my house as a young lad. Of course I remember that. And have you seen what they turned it into? You go woke, you go broke. You must hear this story about what has gone down today with Sports Illustrated as we get into that coming up next to the Chris Crock Show in hour number 2 on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset.